And we are live. Yes. Episode 2 of the social media blueprint. And while we're getting some things ironed out, we got some housekeeping updates. So, for those of you who are in StreamYard, who are watching this webinar from the StreamYard, we want you to know that if you go to, in fact, let me bring a man up. Austin, what's going on, brother?
What's up?
So, Austin, real quick. So, those who are watching this from StreamYard, we want them to be sure to make sure that they're watching this in the resolution that's the best quality, which is 1080p for the moment. Where can they find out how to do that? Where can they do that at?
Yeah, so if you're on StreamYard specifically, if you're on
Mhm.
YouTube, it's not applicable, I don't believe. But if you're on StreamYard, you want to click, if you're looking at the screen, the bottom right, you should see a settings button. Just click on that settings button and make sure that your image resolution is set to 1080p.
Yes, 1080p. 1080p. We don't want 720p. Okay, we
No,
look better in 1080p. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Austin. Thank you, brother.
of course.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And also, too, very important. Those of you who have registered for the webinar, be sure to check your emails because there's an updated link that sends you over to the Egghead Social portal. Okay. And our portal is our environment by which we'll be updating you with some pretty cool features in the very near future. If you don't see that in your email immediately, please check your spam. All right. Please check your spam. And as always, we love questions. We want tons of questions. This is a social media training for businesses. Okay. This is for businesses to succeed. Why are we doing this? Let me just give you a quick update on why we're having this webinar. Okay. And we've not decided how long the webinar will be as far as how many weeks we're going to do this, but we do know that it will be more than 15 weeks. Like we're going to be going with more and more and more content because from my personal travels, talking with people at networking events, speaking with business owners, small, medium, and very large business owners, businesses that are of a substantial size. When I ask questions about how their marketing is going and how they're taking advantage of social media, I'm met with the same concerns, whether you're a small company, whether you're very large. And that concern is we, Derek, believe we may be leaving money on the table. We've used social media, but we've not generated one lead from social media. We've not generated no revenue organically from social media. So, and these are business owners telling me, Derek, what we do is we're just throwing money out there through advertisement. We have sales. We're looking at how we're able to measure those sales, but it's all from an effort of paid ads. Okay, there's nothing wrong with paid ads. However, if that's all you're doing to generate revenue, okay, you're cheating yourself because social media is an amazing superpower. So I'm excited about going into today's episode. Last week, okay, and I'm going to bring this up. Last week, we talked about how you're able to generate and utilize CTAs for your content. Okay. Last week, we talked about content pillars briefly. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about content calendars and converting things and batching your content so that you're not overwhelmed in how to create your content. We're going to have a really good time with this. All right. So I want questions in the middle of me talking. I want tons and tons of questions. That's what the chat is for. Okay. Susie, how you doing? This says, where can I find downloads for this webinar? Hey, Susie, how you doing? Susie's asking, let me put this up here on the screen. Susie is asking, where can she find downloads for this webinar? Well, this webinar, Susie, is being streamed right to our YouTube channel. It's one of the first lives that are on the YouTube channel at the moment. But we have tons of content that's literally in the works. But Susie, to answer your question, you can go over to our YouTube channel at Egghead Social and click on the live option, and you'll see episode 1. You'll see this episode as well, and of course, you'll see our little commercial that's on there. And Susie, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I have your contact information. I will be, Susie, sending you over availability for a one-on-one consultation so we can go back and forth, talk about some of the concerns you have with your business and how we can maximize and 10x your business through social media. So I'm excited about that. I will be sending you an email on that. But again, Susie, you can download the webinar if you like via YouTube from the channel directly. Or if you like, let me put my email address. Yes, Susie, we're going to have a great time in our one-on-one. It's going to be awesome. Let me go ahead and let me write slowly here, because last week when I put my email address into the chat, I went a little too fast and my partner in crime had to help me out. Eggheadsocial.com. Yes. So there is my email address. Did I spell it? Did I do it right? There we go. There we go. I could get sticky fingers there. So yes, email me directly if you have any questions about downloads, one-on-ones, my availability, consultations. Would love to talk to you. Okay. We have a passion for businesses winning. And again, we go to a lot of network meetings and we speak to the most amazing people. But at the same time, and unfortunately, these amazing people are struggling with selling a service. They have these cool ideas and they have the aesthetics that are quite pleasing, but their Instagrams are not doing it for them. Their YouTube channels are not doing it for them. What's the problem? So today, we're going to jump right in. So I'm going to bring up here our slide deck for the day, and I'm going to bring it up to the stage here. Content, that connects. Content that connects. Okay. Building your weekly system for engagement and growth. And that is extremely, extremely important. All right. Let me see here. So when it comes to creating your content for social media, most people, businesses, now I'm talking to business owners, and this applies to those who are not business owners, but you are interested in being a content creator, but I'm speaking to business owners. When I speak to business owners, they're concerned truly when I start asking the questions necessary to ask. They always say things like, I don't know what I'm going to create. And if I do create something, I'm creating it more or less at the last minute and I'm uploading it and I'm crossing my fingers and I'm hoping that I can gain some traction. Okay. So in today's episode, okay, what we're going to talk about is content that is going to connect with the audience that you, a business owner, need to be creating. Okay. Building your weekly system for engagements and growth. It doesn't have to be a full-time job for you when you're creating your content. I'll say that again. It does not have to be a full-time job for you to create compelling content that's going to help you grow your audience and convert. Okay. Now, let me say this to you. We are not training you so that you can convert and grow your channel so that your focus is on the vanity score. What is the vanity score? The vanity score is looking around at social media like YouTube in particular or Instagram and seeing how many followers people have, seeing how many subscribers a channel has. I can show you channels that have over 100,000 subscribers and that channel is not making a dime. Okay. These are the type of channels that are solely relying on Google AdSense dollars. Okay. I don't recommend that you do that. Now, I recommend that you organically grow your channels, whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's your Facebook group. Grow your channels, sure. But we should not focus on the vanity score of how many followers does one have to determine whether or not they're successful. Because in business, with social media, it's all about the connection. Okay. When we say social media network, okay, what comes to mind? If you have questions, please shoot your questions towards me on the fly. I want to answer your questions. But if you think about what a social media network is, a social media network is almost like looking at the understanding of an omni channel. You have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have LinkedIn, and other apps. But these five are critical, okay? And these five work together in unison, bringing people in and out of your content. Okay. These connected networks make you the authority on the subject matter or the service that you're offering. Okay. So, how do we establish good content from content pillars that's going to resonate with an audience? How are we going to put this content out and not be boring? How are we going to put this content out and really attract individuals that we want to see our content? Let's say you're a personal trainer. Okay. And you're into fitness, right? Nowadays, you have fitness trainers on every corner. All right. But there are some fitness trainers who, for the most part, what they're talking about isn't the greatest and latest news we've heard. But what makes them successful is how they're executing their deliverables, right? How they're creating that content that is connecting with their audience. All right. So let's jump right into this slide deck. All right. Let me maybe change. Let me see. Okay, that's no, no. All right, let's go with I'll make myself a little smaller here. Okay, so you can fully see the slide deck. I want you to really see the slide deck. And you see the QR code up there. By the way, with the QR code that you see there, um, if you scan the QR code and you want to do a one-on-one consultation with me, scan the QR code, and I would love to do a excuse me, a one-on-one with you. My scheduling availability is there. Scan the QR code. I'm all yours. We'll have a good time. So now, the power of a weekly content system, okay, is very critical. Okay. Now, this process is one in which we're trying to establish a workable system so that you're not bottlenecked, so that you're not stressing. Because as a business owner, you have a lot of things that you're doing, right? You're trying to get more clients. You're trying to you're doing B2B relationships possibly, right? The B2C is where it's at. I get that. But with our B2B relationships, we're establishing them. We're trying to find common ground with these other businesses. Maybe you have a business that's established and you have payroll and a lot of other things that you have going on. And you may have a small social media team and you leave it to them to get things done, and they may not be getting things done for you. So it's good for you to understand how this content needs to be created and what you as a business owner should be expecting from your social media team. Okay. So as you see here, it says time and stress reductions, goal alignment, trust building. Let's start with trust and stress reduction. The understanding here is this: social media is a true superpower. Okay. But only when you have a system. Posting randomly is a problem. If you post randomly, you're not creating a system so that people can get to understand you. You have to treat your social media deliverables very seriously, like a religion. It has to be systematic and you have to do it regularly. I'm going to talk to the point of what regular means. Consistent and regular does not mean, listen, consistent and regular does not mean that you're posting every single week on different days of the week. No. Consistently posting is posting every week on the same day, preferably at the same time. Okay? Now, a weekly system saves precious hours and reduces constant pressures. When you have a system in place, this is where content calendars come in. When you have a system in place by which you know what you're going to post every single week, that means that you're planning ahead. Okay. When you plan ahead, see, when it comes to social media as a business owner, we're thinking, I have to take the content that I have immediately and just throw it out there. That's a lie. When people say to us, hey, you should just get in front of the camera and create content and go, there are truths to that, but there are also some fallacies to that that can be detrimental. Okay. You have to have your goals in alignment with a structure. Okay. By doing that, you're able to build trust. Now, what do I mean by all this? Yes, you should create content. Yes, you should put your content out there. But the first thing you should do is understand what your content pillars are. We talked about this last week. Okay. Now I'm going to bring up a visual for you. I want you to see this because I brought this up last week, and many of you that are in here, you may not have seen this from last week. But I'm going to bring up. We have a client, Maximize Asset Protection, a wonderful client who is an health care insurance client of ours. All right, and they came to us, and their concern was we're posting on Instagram, we're posting on TikTok, and we're trying to figure out why we don't have any traction. So I'm going to bring this up for you. I want you to see this. All right. Let me see here. Let me remove this here. And by the way, behind me, why not results? It's the studio I'm in. They're wonderful. But anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and let me share my screen here. And I'm going to bring up, let me see, Instagram. Okay. Now, you all can see, hold on, let me see here, add to the stage. There you go. All right. So you guys can see the Instagram here, right? You see this Instagram. Okay. Now, you see 660 posts and you see 22 followers on this company's Instagram. Okay. Now, these are the results that you get. These are not good results. These are awful results. These are the results you get when you don't have a strategy, when you're haphazardly just posting without a direction. Okay. You're not planning ahead. Look at this. These are posts. Okay. Now, this is a great company. I better say they're great. They're a client, but no, they're a good company. Okay. But the problem is there is no structure in how they're posting. Okay. These are health insurance agent experts, right? And this is their Instagram. If you're posting, if you've made 660 posts and you only have 22 followers, obviously you're doing something wrong. Okay. In fact, as another refresher, let's do this. I want you to see, let me see here. I want you to see, let me see here. I want you to see, let's look at TikTok. How are we doing on TikTok? How are we doing on TikTok? Let's get TikTok going. There we go. Wow. 600. Wait, what is this? This is Instagram again? No. We want to bring up TikTok. TikTok. Do we have TikTok up here? Yeah, we have TikTok. So TikTok has what? Wow. Three followers. Okay. We saw this last week. Okay. So if I'm a business and I'm trying to generate leads, this particular business, great business, Derek, we have been exhausting our resources, putting content on social media. We have not generated one lead in about a year and a half, almost 2 years posting on social media. Not one lead, not one. Well, I can see that you've not generated a lead. You have 3 followers. Okay. So how do we, Derek, generate a lead on social media? I'm glad you asked. So we're going to talk about this. Okay. And we're going to look at the importance of having a structure that allows us to create content that is going to cater to the audience and that the audience can expect. See, you have to realize when you're posting your content on social media, you want to create an audience that's going to expect education. They're going to expect tips, right? They're going to expect stories. They want relatability. So those tips and stories, who has your business blessed? And I want to hear the testimonial, right? I just don't want to see the face of the person that's the expert and they're talking to me and it's not emotionally tugging at my heart. You have to convince people that you're well-rounded and that you're not boring. Okay. Now, if you have a business like this business here, this business is a business that's healthcare insurance. There's nothing sexy to talk about with healthcare insurance. And maybe you have a business where it's like, this is kind of boring, right? Maybe you're into fitness. It's like fitness isn't the great. I mean, it's not that attractive. I mean, it's just fitness. Like, so what are you going to do or what are you going to talk about that's going to make me want to watch your content? This is what you're going to do. You're going to plan ahead the content that you're going to make. Do not rush to create your content. You should be thinking about your content and what you're going to create for about a week or 2 before you execute it and start putting it out. Okay? Don't think about what the content's going to be for 2 or 3 weeks. We live in the age of AI. ChatGPT is a real thing. You can ask ChatGPT for some content pillars on the subject matter of your content to start getting ideas of what you should be posting on your socials. Okay. So today in this lesson, we're going to go through that. So this slide, the power of a weekly content system, is so that you understand to take your time, okay, and create your content ideas of what you want to talk about. If you like talking about the subject matter, you're going to express passion, You're going to smile. You're going to show your teeth, and people are going to be attracted to you. I'm serious. Okay. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, but plan your content ahead. Now, I want us to look at a weekly, I call it a 5-post framework. Okay. And by the way, let me do this for you. In fact, I'll do it for you. I need to do this for you right now because I want you guys to have, in fact, Austin, if we can, Austin, I would like to add the worksheet in this week's worksheet. I want to add the worksheet into, I didn't get around to doing that. If you can, Austin, I want to add the worksheet into the chat. I want you guys to download this worksheet that you're going to see pop up here shortly. And I want you to follow along. Now, of course, these worksheets are PDFs, all right? And we want you to have another piece of paper that you can kind of, or notepad that you can write some of the questions, answers from the worksheet on, okay, and go through it. And of course, if you didn't get last week's worksheet, okay, that worksheet, actually, if you haven't gotten it, you can shoot me an email. We can shoot that over to you. But again, I want us to use that worksheet because the system is quite easy and it is not overwhelming. So I want us to look at the weekly 5-post framework. Okay. Now, last week we talked about the 3 main content pillars: authority, relatability, and promotion. We talked about those things, right? As an owner of a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. Okay. Social media is where you create your authority. Social media is also where you need to establish a relatable back and forth with your content to the audience. Okay. As well as promoting your services. All right. And where we make the mistake with social media, and this is a by and large problem, most people who create content on social media, they do not offer their services. We are of this opinion that we need to offer our services on social media by just saying we have services, but we're never intentional. What do I mean by being intentional? If you put a post on your YouTube channel in long form or short form, if you put a reel on Instagram or a story, why are we not adding a link to a CTA, or a CTA is a link? Or if you're on Instagram, you're telling people to go to your bio. You're saying go to your bio, not articulating it in the video. But when I look at the copy, go to the bio for more information, to find our services, for the 15-minute consultation. If you're doing a YouTube video, tell me in the video with the lower third pops up in your video that I can click the link below for more of what you are offering. When you make your content, you have to think promotion. How am I going to get people and my services to meet? It has to be tangible. If you're posting with no intention, you're just posting the post, it's a hobby and you're wasting your time. Now, there are 2 additional ingredients to the 5-post framework. You have the value snippets, and you also have engagement posts. And we're going to talk about that. Now, what are value snippets? You see here: deliver quick, actionable information through quotes, tips, or stories. I'm going to read this again to you. Deliver quick and actionable. Actionable. What does that mean? That means you're telling me things about your services that I can implement immediately so that I can win. Okay. How do you do that? Maybe through quotes. Okay. Stories. Stories go very well and go hard on Instagram, but a story lasts 24 hours. So if a story lasts 24 hours, and this is only on Instagram, maybe we need to add maybe 2 or 3 stories a week on Instagram. Just a thought. Now, engagement posts. An engagement post is a post that really sparks a conversation. But how do you spark a conversation, right? It sparks replies, interactions with polls and questions or reels. Now, when you have your social media, let's say you're on YouTube and you're making your posts and you're adopting the idea of authority and relatability in your content and you're promoting, okay? It's sometimes good to add a poll, especially this works in your Facebook group. This works very well on Instagram because you want to do a temperature check. Don't put a poll out every single week, okay? Especially if you don't have that big of a following on social media. But maybe once a week, or once every other, excuse me. Don't put a poll out every day, sorry. But maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe 2 polls a month, bi-weekly. Put a poll out just to get a temperature check of what people are saying. Maybe you get 2 or 3 people that would put their opinion down about the poll. Okay, great. Polls are good because they give you direction as to what type of content that the audience is looking for. But the weekly 5 post framework here is when I'm posting, Derek said, I need to think ahead about the content that I'm going to put out. This content needs to be framed as our business is the authority on the subject. Okay. Now, authority on the subject. Does the post offer your branding? Is your logo a watermark in the video? Okay. In your videos, do I have background music? If you do a video and it doesn't have background music and it's just you and you're talking into the camera and it's very stale, that's not entertaining. We need some background music. What type of music should we put in the background? Something that's trending. What type of music is trending on social media? You can ask Google, you can ask ChatGPT, and you can put that music in the background, especially on all of your shorts, especially on all of your reels. Okay. And it gives you the authority. And now it makes your content, and I'm enjoying your content. I want to watch your content. Okay. And you know your subject matter. Okay. If you don't know your subject matter, don't make a video of you on the camera. Know the subject, read, understand what the pros and cons are, because tips come in. When you're able to give tips, videos and tips, it goes a long way. Okay. But being the authority does not mean you do a long list of talking and you're just filling the space up. People are not looking at your content for that. People are coming to look at your business content to learn something quickly and then move on. You know that. So if you want me to be compelled by your message, okay, then when I get to you and I see your content, be the authority. Give me some tips. When I watch your video, show me the 5 bullet points that you're talking about. Show me how I'm winning. Don't ask me how my kids are doing. Okay. Get right to the point. That shows me that you're about your business. Okay. And if you know that your business is solving a solution, your business is solving a problem, it's a remedy. What is the remedy of your business and your services and what you're offering? I don't care how boring you think your services are. Is there a remedy? What problem is your business solving? We have to talk to that, because once you know what problem your business is solving, now you can make your service relatable in the video content that you're creating. Okay. And from there, you have to promote your services. Okay. So this is, again, the 5 weekly post framework. Now, you see here, thank you so much, Austin. He put the worksheet here for this week. This is the worksheet. Download the worksheet, follow along. And of course, this video is being streamed to YouTube. And so you can follow along, go through the worksheet, answer the questions, and be very, very, very honest. In fact, after you answer the questions, I encourage you, if you want more information about the answers that you have and how you can, let's say, establish a better understanding of what direction you should go in with your social medias for your business, scan the QR code. Let's get a one-on-one going. Let's talk about your answers and how it works customized for your business. Okay, so let's move right along. Now, this here says an authority post example. Okay, now this is very important. Okay, authority post examples are very, very, very important. Okay, so let's see here. So the first thing you see here is a carousel or an infographic image. Okay, now this image is for, let's say, a business that's healthcare related. All right, so stay with me for a second. So this would be an example of, again, a carousel, but this is actually more or less an infographic. All right, talks about HMO, PPO, EPO. This is the type of post that you can post on Instagram. But I wouldn't post it like you see here because you really can't see the fine print. So over this image, you would overlay larger words that talk to the point of what are the differences between these three options? And then your video could pop up. Or if it's just this image, okay, you can have a voiceover in the background. Below it here, it gives you an example. I actually put this together. Did you know there are three main types of health insurance plans most people qualify for? Right? That's a great, quick, grabs your attention, right? And most don't know how to pick the right one. Here's a breakdown in how to avoid costly mistakes. So now you see this, right? Now, this is what? This is education. This is quick to the point about healthcare options. And I've had questions about PPOs, EPOs, and HMOs. Cool. And then I get a quick video breakdown, music in the background. That's an example. That's a post idea. Okay. Now I want you to do something for me. Recall the Instagram channel page that I showed you. You saw the same people and it just was over and over and over. It was just redundant, right? You're not supposed to do that. Do not do that. Okay. Now look at example number 2. It's a talking head reel. Okay. These do very, very well. Okay. Now, if you read here the quote, it says open enrollment doesn't have to be overwhelming. Here's our 5-step guide to making smart coverage decisions, especially if you're self-employed, right? She's clean cut. She's attractive. She's looking right at the camera. And then she goes right into her spiel. Now, she says the line that you see here in the example number 2, and then all of a sudden you see the bullet points popping up and then she's explaining them. And then all of a sudden the video ends. Okay. So there is no downtime and there's no small talk. It's just giving you informative information. Okay. And the information is information that's relatable, because what the talking head understands, what you understand about your business is, the questions you've been asked outside of social media with clients, with potential customers. Okay. You just formalize those questions and you make them into talking head reels or shorts for your Instagram or YouTube channel. Okay. And you make them attractive. All right. So these are 2 examples of authority post examples. Now, the infographic is cool, but an infographic, if it's just an infographic and it's on an Instagram and it's just there, be careful that the infographic doesn't have too many words on it. Okay. And that it says something that's effective. I wouldn't say too profound, but something that can really grab one's attention. If it's a carousel, whether it's 2 or 3 or maybe 4 slides, have it be something that's telling a story. It starts at point A and then goes all the way to point D, to like, wow, this crescendo of like, oh, I get it. This is really good. And always with every post, I'm going to keep saying this to you, always add a CTA. Okay. Now, moving right along, relatable and promotional post examples. Relatable and promotional post examples. This is big. Now, in the example you see here, see a lovely young lady here sitting here. And this is more of a story post. Okay. But again, what we're giving you are ideas. What I'm giving you are ideas as to how to mix up and change up your posts each week. So here, I'm going to read this to you. When my daughter turned 26, she was dropped from my employer plan and had no clue what to do next. Story, follow along. That moment made me realize how many young adults feel lost about coverage. Let's discuss. Okay. And you have the lovely young lady sitting here. She's looking at an example of maybe insurance coverage that she's been dropped from. What's this story like? Okay. With your business, what are some horror stories in your industry by which you're solving the problem? Okay. Have you heard of unfortunate stories in your business or in your, let's call it your niche, by which your business solves that problem? I'm sure you've heard hundreds of stories and people have come to you. Okay. And you heard their stories. you can reproduce those stories and make them relatable posts. Okay. You can make those carousel videos. You can make those story reels. Now, again, stories only last 24 hours. Okay. But it's important to add those because people follow those stories, and always add CTAs to those stories. They're going to be there for 24 hours. Okay. That's important. Promotional posts. We know promotional posts are a part of the three-headed content pillars that are mandatory. CTAs, links. Okay. Now, this promotional post says free 15-minute coverage audit. All right. Now, if you think about, I'm going to go back real quick. If you think about the authority posts, right? And you think about the weekly 5-post framework, let's move forward. The authority post examples I'm giving you. Okay. These are different type of post ideas and different pieces of content. Follow me. And then you go to the relatable and then promotional post examples. What you're finding are different posts pointing people in the same direction, and you're attracting a different demographic. You're attracting different eyeballs. As we understand, everyone is not on all social media platforms. Some people on YouTube, Instagram, some people live on Facebook, some people live on LinkedIn, right? And so you're offering a nice breath of fresh air every week of different deliverables that's attracting different audiences, different demographics because of how you're making your posts. But what all of your posts are doing is offering a promotion to get closer to you, to make you more tangible. Okay. So the promotional post, let's read it. Confused about health plans? Book a 15-minute coverage audit and we'll help you find the best option for your family or business. No pressure, no jargon. Okay. So now think about this. That's a promotional post. That's not a paid post. You can use it as a paid post, but we're not talking about paid posts right now or paid ads. We're talking about organic posts to bring in leads. Okay. Just going over these small examples of how your posting should be throughout the week. Okay. Gives you a wonderful bird's eye view of how you should be posting and attracting people to look at you as the authority on the subject matter. Okay. They're finding relatability with you. More importantly, you're consistently posting on the same days at the same time. So now I'm expecting to see your content and it's relatable, right? And you're promoting your services. Again, you're promoting your services. All too often when you look at social media around the table, everyone's desperate to make a buck. Everyone is desperate to make a buck. But where is the content where the people are passionate about their services? They want you to win. They're smiling, okay? And it feels like they're giving you free content. They're giving you free value. And that's the thing. That's what social media is. If you want people to buy into your services and buy into what you're offering, give them free, valuable content. Don't give them randomized last-minute posts because we can see that. Okay? These posts that sometimes the videos may look really, really good and the edit looks great, but you don't post again for 2 more weeks. So you get lost in translation. I said this last week. If you're posting as a business, okay, we get so caught up in looking at our competitors. Now, it's good to be competitive, and it's good to look at who else is in your genre that's posting content like you and who's selling your same services. I get that. But in 2025, your competition is actually any and everyone who is in the feed. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Your competition is any and everyone who is in the feed. It's not just the competitor across the street who sells the same tires that you sell. Okay? Not in this day and age. All right. But again, I want you to understand that these relatable and promotional post examples are how you should be laying out your social media posts every single week. So moving right along. There are 2 additional content pillars, if you will, on the 5-weekly framework: value snippet and engagement examples. And I want to go over this. All right. So It says pro tip. If you're between jobs, don't default to Cobra right away. So this is more or less a healthcare ad. Watch this now. You might qualify for a private plan that's 40 or 60% cheaper with better flexibility. All right. So this is a nice Instagram slide, right? But don't post that one time. Maybe post 2 or 3 of those per week. These are nothing more than Canva made posts that are on your Instagram. But what do we do with this post? You do not post that without what? Without a CTA. Okay. You do not post that without a CTA, a call to action. You want people to find you. Okay. Another good example. Okay. Engagement posts and polls. What's a good example of a poll? I've done the honors of giving you an example here. Here we go. Which of these is your top healthcare worry? High monthly premiums, unexpected ER costs, confusing coverage terms, not knowing if you're truly covered. Now, you might put this out as a poll on Instagram. Where else can we put this poll? This poll would be wonderful within a LinkedIn article. This poll would be wonderful within a LinkedIn article. Yeah. This poll would be wonderful on Instagram, right? This poll would be great in your Facebook group for your services. And you would be able to pull a lot of information from there. Now the percentage is higher on unexpected ER costs or emergency room costs. So now that you see that your audience is more concerned about unexpected ER costs, or they're more concerned because the polls say that the highest percentage of not knowing if you're truly covered is a major concern from people that have taken your poll. Now we need to start curtailing our content around that concern. And we create content pillars around that. We start testing those posts. Again, these posts are going to be sprinkled out each week according to the examples that we gave you. Okay? Now, content in batches. This is so good. This is so good. This is so good. This is so good. This is where you save time and frustration. Okay? So I've spoken with business owners who always say, Derek, I don't have time for social media. And when I hear that, I hear, Derek, I don't really want to make a lot of money. I don't know why that's what I hear. That's just where my brain goes. When I hear a business owner say, Derek, I just don't have time for social media, my brain hears, I don't really want to make a lot of money. It's just how I'm wired. Okay. Listen, you need to be on social media. Okay. You need to be on social media. We're intimidated by social media. We believe that social media is too much work. It's not too much work. Let me just say this. If you think social media is too much work for you and you don't want to do it, give it to us. We'll do it for you. Just a little plug. I'm being serious. If you believe social media is too much work for you, give it to Egghead Social. We'll just do it for you. All right. Scan the QR code, give your free consultation. We'll figure it out. All right. But in the meantime, don't think like that. Do not think that you cannot do social media on your own or hire a team to do it, because you need social media. Now, if you're doing it on your own, how can you create your content weekly that looks very good, it's effective, and it's offering your authority, it's offering relatability, it's promoting the right way, it's offering all the engagement things that you need? How do you do that? You create your content in batches. Let's look at this. The batch and schedule method transforms content creation from overwhelming to manageable. There are many examples of how to create content in batches, but I'm going to give you one here. Okay. Remember earlier when I said it's good to plan your content ahead. Because you've made a video, because you've created a short or a long form, or you made a story, or you created a nice, cool design on Canva, does not mean you need to post immediately. Because you've made a long form video, a short form video, a reel, a story, a Canva nice static image, a carousel, whatever. Because you've made that does not mean you need to immediately make a post of that content. Stay with me. What you should do is put all the content that you create within your deliverable strategy. because until you post it, we've never seen it. And when we see it, it's new. Okay. When we see this content, it's new. So when you're making your content, don't be so in a rush to post because you have more content to make. Okay. So set up your deliverables in batches. Here's an example. Watch this. On Monday, okay, plan your ideas for all 5 post types. What 5 post types are you going to post? I can give you some examples. I want to make a long form video. I want to make a short. I want to make a story. I want to offer a static image post. And let's say I want to offer an article on LinkedIn. Okay. That's 5 posts. That's using LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. All right. But you create this content or you plan out those ideas on Monday. Okay. I did that in a matter of seconds of what those posts will be. All right. Now, on Tuesday, you record videos or you write the copy. Okay. Now, for business owners, listen to me. For you business owners who know your services, okay, scripts are good. But if it looks like you're not reading from something and you're giving us your heart, and it's okay to have a script to give you a reference to the next point that you need to make, that's fine. But don't read a script while looking at us, right? Look at us with your eyeballs. Show us your teeth. Smile, okay? Make it organic. When you create this content, okay, writing copy, that's great. That's cool. Copy for your articles for LinkedIn, that's great. Okay. I've given you guys the LinkedIn hack. If you want more about the LinkedIn hack, let me know. I love talking about LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a lot of disposable income. But when it comes to Tuesday, you're recording your content. Okay. Is it going to take you all day to record your content? No, I'm going to encourage you. If you're starting out or if you've been doing or putting content out for a while, okay, and you're still trying to get established and you're still trying to create that relatability, you're trying to have effective promotions with your content. You want your content to show that you're the authority. You don't have to, every video doesn't have to be 30 minutes long. Let's stick around like 3 to 5 minutes. Let's just stay in there. Okay. Because if it's 3 to 5 minutes, you can make more content. So Monday, you come up with the ideas. What do I want to post in that week? Not that same week, but what type of content do I want to put out in a week? You figure that out on Monday. Okay. This is just an example. Come Tuesday, you film the content. You write your copy. Okay. Wednesday, if you have to design visuals, right? Like if you have to make those static images on Canva, if there's editing involved, right? Do that on Wednesday. The shorter your videos, the less editing you have to do. I'm gonna say that again. The shorter your videos, the less editing you have to do. Do not create long form content and then go to Opus Clip and let Opus Clip cut it. And all you're doing is taking it and throwing it at Instagram. Now, am I against that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not saying don't do that altogether, but let's not make that our main approach to delivering content. That's lazy. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. When you make your content, okay, it's nothing wrong with putting your videos in Opus Clip and delivering that to your Instagram, but it's how you do it. That shouldn't be the only end all be all to the content that you're delivering. Okay? Let's mix it up. Now, on Wednesday, what do? We did some editing. On Thursday, we schedule all posts for the week. Well, Derek, it's Thursday. The week's almost over. This is the week of strategy. You're planning. You're planning this week. Okay? So let's go over it again. Monday, what do? We're going to put 5 posts out. We want to put out 5 posts a week. Hear me? We want to put out 5 posts a week, right? So Monday, what do? We planned the strategy of what's going out. What's going out? We said we're going to have a long form video. We're going to have a short. We're going to have a story. We're going to have an article on LinkedIn, and we're going to have a static image. Okay. Now we can mix this up every week, but this week we're going to have these 5 items. We discovered that on Monday. On Tuesday, we get to work and we start designing. We start recording. We start writing copy. If there's an article on LinkedIn, right? We let ChatGPT do that. But in letting chat write our articles, make sure you tell chat to put some bullet points in it. Make sure that you, by the way, stop using ChatGPT and just copying it out. I'm gonna say that again. Stop using ChatGPT to write your articles for LinkedIn or for whatever platform, and you don't read it yourself. Oh my God. Please read the articles and edit them. A quick way of editing your articles, a quick way of editing your articles from ChatGPT is to put those articles into Grammarly. Okay, let Grammarly do the grammatical checking. Upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a score. All right, if that score says 80, that's wonderful. 90, fantastic. I would say even if it's as low as 70, copy that article out and paste it into LinkedIn. But it's imperative that that article has bullet points. Okay, most articles that don't have bullet points that are long, might not read it unless it's a cool novel that's been recommended. All right. Or it's maybe a contract, but even contracts have bullet points. All right. So again, on Monday, you create your 5 ideas of what you're posting. What are the deliverables? Tuesday, you start recording, you're writing your articles, right? On Wednesday, you're designing whatever it is you need to design on Canva or whatever other software you want to use, and you're editing. Okay. On Thursday, you schedule out when this content's going to go out. Now watch this. When is this content going to go out? The following week. The following week. There are services out there like Buffer, buffer.com, Buffer, Buffer. There are services like Loomly, LOOMLY.com. Okay. There's many services out there. All right. That are deliverables by which you put your content into these houses of deliverable, meaning these softwares that'll just start scheduling out your content. Right now, since you've now finished all of your posts for the upcoming week on Thursday, you've now started creating your content calendar. So now you know that on, let's say, those 5 deliverables, let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you have content going out. You have content going out every single day. Now you're ahead of the curve, right? You have content going out every single day. It's different content. You have it on different platforms. It's attractive. It looks good, and it's measurable. And every last one of those pieces of content have what? They have a CTA, right? It's hand-holding. You're telling the consumer where to go. I'm going to drive you guys crazy by saying that, okay? You're telling the consumer where to go. Now watch this. That week comes up, and Monday, boom, the first post goes live. But what are you doing that Monday? I'm going to ask you again. Monday shows up. The previous week, you created all this content, right? You put it into the system. The system is now delivering your content out. You used either Buffer, you used Loomly, or any service that will schedule out your posts, or you manually did it yourself. Regardless, come Monday, you're creating what? Content for the next week. So not to take you through this whole creating content batch again, but by Thursday, the next week is already completed. Okay? The better you get at this process, by Wednesday, you'll have content already created for the following week because you're systematically putting your content. Before you know it, 2 months has gone by. The analytics on Instagram, the analytics on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn is now talking to you. LinkedIn is telling you that you have more impressions because LinkedIn is very impression based. YouTube is giving you a breath of fresh air of understanding what your engagement counts are, what your viewer counts are, how long people are looking at your content. Instagram is doing similar things, but at the same, and Facebook, but at the same time, now you have momentum. Now you're moving right along. Now you're like, oh, I have a lead. Because if you're putting content out like this on a regular basis, on a regular scheduled basis, you will have leads. You will have leads. Now, remember, disclaimer here. Remember, one reel can become a LinkedIn post. Remember those articles? Okay. An email tip and a carousel. Repurpose content across platforms to maximize your effort. But let me emphasize this. When it comes to repurposing your content, for example, in that week, we created what? One video short, right? Shorts go to YouTube. There's nothing wrong with repurposing that YouTube short to Instagram. But do me a favor and do your business a favor. Do not repurpose that YouTube short if you don't see that YouTube short is doing very well or decent on YouTube. Don't just repurpose for repurpose sake. Okay? But initially, you want to put your content out there with a system. And if you repurpose that YouTube short to Instagram Reel as an Instagram Reel or on Instagram, be sure to look at the numbers and how well it's doing. Okay? We continue to get mentally lazy and just put out content. Let's not do that. Let's look at how well the content is doing. When you have a content batch system in place that you are doing regularly and you get used to doing that, it's easier to then start measuring your analytics. If you need help with looking at and understanding your analytics, what should you be looking at? What should you be measuring? Scan this QR code, schedule a one-on-one time with me. It's free, okay? And we can go into your analytics and I'll show you exactly what to look for, okay? And how to make micro pivots so that you can get the best results. Micro pivots are real, okay? Now, content batching tools. Kind of hinted at this in the previous slide, but understand this, okay? Planning or writing. Google Docs for scripting and organizing your content ideas, okay? Now, for many of you watching this, you're like, Derek, come on, man, you're being elementary. I mean, we know this. Everyone does not know this. Everyone is not as computer savvy or tech savvy as the next person. So I'm going to go through this list real quickly here, okay, for some of the businesses here that need it, okay? So listen to me. When it comes to you creating your ideas and your thoughts, creating content batches, remember Monday? Plan ideas for all 5 posts, okay? What should you do that on? Planning and writing. Get a Google Doc and start scripting and organizing your content ideas. What am I posting for the week? This matters. Do this, okay? Designing software. What am I going to use? Canva for creating professional graphics and templates. Let's keep it simple, okay? Well, Derek, I don't know how to create a thumbnail for YouTube. Say that again. I don't know how to create a thumbnail for YouTube. You have a business? Yes. Okay. Go get Canva, right? When you get to Canva, create a Canva account if you don't have one already, okay? When you have your Canva account, what I want you to do is go into the search bar. I want you to type in YouTube thumbnail template. YouTube thumbnail, or type in YouTube thumbnail template. Simple. Hit enter. And then you're going to see a myriad of thumbnail ideas. Tons of them. But let me give you a little hack. Watch this. Whatever industry you're in as a business owner, okay? Let's say you're into fitness, or let's say you're a church, okay? Let's say you're into real estate. Whatever the industry you're in, if you want to have a very attractive thumbnail, go to YouTube, because thumbnails are only on YouTube. Follow me. Go to YouTube and type in your industry name and look for YouTube channels that are talking and offering your same services. And find the YouTube channels that are doing well from a vanity standpoint. Stay with me. From a vanity standpoint, they have a lot of views. They have a lot of subscribers, right? And look at those thumbnails. Find the thumbnails that you think are attractive. If you make a post on YouTube and it's in long form, I see this all the time by business owners, and it drives me crazy. People will make these wonderful videos and put these long form videos on YouTube with no thumbnail. But here's the thing. You don't know what you don't know. If you add a thumbnail to your videos, the reach of that video increases by about 16 to 20%. I'm going to say that again. If you put a thumbnail, an attractive thumbnail on your YouTube long form video, its reach increases by about 16 to 20%, sometimes much higher. Okay. It's important to have a thumbnail on your YouTube videos. Many of you may say, well, Derek, we know that. Okay. Well, then why am I seeing businesses that have long form videos that have no thumbnail? That's a wasted video. Don't do that, especially if you're just starting out. Now, well, Derek, I've seen YouTube videos and channels that are getting great reach and great numbers, and all of their long form videos don't have a thumbnail. My reply to that is, you're not them. You're just starting out. Or even if you've been around for a while and you're trying to create great content in long form, let's not be lazy. Create the thumbnails. Go to Canva, type in YouTube thumbnail. They give you a brevity of tons, an exhaustive list of wonderful thumbnail ideas for your business. Okay. Now, video editing. I got a lot of questions about video editing. Well, Derek, I'm not a video editor. Okay. Should I hire a VA to do my video editing? Sure, you can do that. Or depending on what type of content you're creating, okay. What we have here, CapCut, we have InShort for quick professional video edits, right? Those two work very well. I've worked with both of them. Am I a video editor? No. Have I edited videos? Yes. If you use CapCut, which I recommend, okay, why do I recommend CapCut over InShort? I have more experience with it. Let me be very transparent. With CapCut, you can get things done quickly, okay? And CapCut today has a lot more utilities than 3 years ago. Like they're always adding new updates to it, okay? Make your videos 3 to 5 minutes long. Make your videos 3 to 5 minutes long. If you have to go over, I get it. But stay within that range. Why? Because the editing process, the longer the video is, the more exhaustive it is, the more frustrating it can be if you don't know what you're doing. Okay. But there are very simple tools. Listen, I spoke with someone recently, lovely young lady. She was concerned about making video edits. She was like, Derek, I don't have the time. I said, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because you do have time to make money. So you have time to edit. The better you get at something, you need to do this. Trust me, you need to do this because our mindset as a business owner is I need to hurry up and rush and get things done quickly. Stop, slow down, stop. Slow down. Okay. Get CapCut or InShot as software and edit your videos. Okay. Learn to edit your videos. They don't have to be magically amazing and delicious and just the best things. No, have them be clean. It's simple to just add some background music, turn the volume down, turn your voice up in the editing software, make it nice, right? Create a logo for your business. Do you have a business logo? Create the logo. Have an intro. Okay. CapCut, I mean, within CapCut, it has tons of intro options. They're templates. Just put your logo in it, pop up, boom, and it just does it. Okay. It works. All right. Use the software. Take your time. Okay. You don't have to rush. Get really good at creating your content and then putting it out, but being consistent with that. It goes a long way. We have to get out of this mindset of having to we're always rushing. We're always rushing as businesses to be first, but we rush with nothing to show for it. Our content is trash. The video quality is low. Well, Derek, what should the resolution be? I would say 4K preferably, but the file is very large. So let's go with a 1080p 60 frames per second video. Okay, let's edit your video. Let's make the video exciting. Okay, and let's put it out on a regular basis. All right. Now, scheduling. There are some scheduling tools. Now, I talked about Buffer earlier. There's also Later. These are what we call automated posting softwares. When you've done your batching of content, right? Let's go back. You've done your batching of content, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Well, Derek, can I start posting on Friday? Don't post on Friday. Keep that content that you created that week for the next week. I don't recommend you make the posts for yourself manually. Let's use some automated scheduling software because while that's working for you in the background, you can be creating your new batch of content in the foreground. Okay? Let the system work for you and stop rushing. You got this. I promise you, you got this. Now, weekly analytics review. See, this is very good because most businesses, I'm going to say 95% of business owners that I speak, close to a 97, 98%, that 2% that I don't even need to speak of, they have a social media team, or yeah, most of them have a team or people they trust. Okay. But I'm referring to business owners, that 95, 98% that are terrified of analytics. They don't even know what to look at. Right. But let me say this: when you have a batching system in which how you're creating your content matters, and you have a flow of what you're doing every week, you have your deliverables Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? You're creating your content. And if you're just starting out, you don't need 4 days to create your content. If you're creating, let's say, 3 posts a week, right? If you're creating 3 posts a week, maybe on a Saturday, you create your ideas. Monday, you create your content. Tuesday, you're done. And then that content goes out the following week. If you keep that schedule, oh my God, like you can start creating content a lot. But when you have a batch scheduled process going, it becomes far easier to go into the back office analytics reporting of your posts to see how well it's doing. Okay. What are the important pieces of analytics you should be looking at that this slide is referring to? And it's here in plain sight. It's very simple. Okay. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Instagram or whatnot, right? It says here, example, a carousel titled 5 things to ask before choosing healthcare. Before choosing health insurance, right? The why here is educational, easy to swipe through, and shareable. Okay, so of course it's referring to a carousel. So likes, saves, shares. Okay, these are not bad numbers. They're actually impressive. 89 saves, 50, 57 shares. Good luck. That's very impressive. But this is just an example of what you should be looking at when you look at your analytics. Okay, views, 89 likes, 14 comments. That's you're doing 14 comments is really 14 organic comments is really, really good, right? Most engaging format. When you're looking at your, and of course, if you're an insurance company, example, Instagram Reels, what's the difference between PPO, HMO, and EPO? We talked about this earlier. When you're looking at the analytics, these are things you want to look at. What are the views? What are your likes, your comments, right? Now watch this. You see this here? CTA performance. What's the CTA? It's a call to action. So with your CTA performance, you want to look at things like this has 18 DMs received. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, so we understand that DMs mean direct message, but hear me out. When you want people to respond to a DM, tell us what you want us to do on your Instagram posts. Those work very well with Reels when you tell us, by the way, post the word so-and-so in the DM and I'll do this. Okay. Doing that regularly goes far because now you have people engaging and they're making these posts, and now you're seeing this count of increase happen by this engagement process, right? Let's say 5 new lead calls that are booked. So now you're seeing that with your CTAs that you're putting on every post. Now watch this. Your top performing posts. Okay, maybe your likes and your saves and your shares, and maybe the other analytics are lower. But these things are what you're looking for. But of course, there are more. But let's just, for the point of just being simple and simplifying it, looking at your views, your likes, your comments, your shares, okay? And then your CTAs, when you see this number increasing, okay, and you've been putting CTAs in these posts, follow me, and you've been putting CTAs in your posts, you're going to see an uptick in how many leads that you're generating, that you're booking, okay? All of this does matter. Now, last week I talked about vanity scores, and I talked about real growth engagements. The algorithm, don't worry yourself about the algorithm, but this is all you need to know about the algorithms on these platforms. They are concerned about your engagements, okay? These algorithms are concerned about your engagements. They want to know how well you're engaging your audience. Okay. It's great to have tons of followers and it's so cool. It looks so great. It does feed your ego to have a lot of subscribers. That's cool. But haven't you seen those YouTube channels that have 50,000 subscribers and you look at their content and it has 4 views or 12 views, 1 comment or no comment? That's super questionable. Okay? That's not organic. And that's what you don't want that. You would rather have far less subscribers and high engagements, because as you have more engagements, the algorithm loves that. And the algorithm is programmed to open the floodgates ever so slightly to bring you more eyeballs. And if you're consistently posting, according to what I'm teaching you, okay, if you're consistently posting to what I'm teaching you, then you receive more and more and more eyeballs, more views, which will increase your engagements. Okay. Now, understand this to the point of vanity scores. Track growth versus vanity. Okay. Now, your engagements and conversions matter more. Okay. Your follower count, your subscriber count, that's all secondary. All right. That how many people are following you? And that's all we look at. I've spoken with individuals who are just very disappointed with their followers and their subscriber count, but they had 12 comments. I'm like, what are you doing? Why haven't you replied to the comments? You have comments. When you have people that are commenting, you need to pounce those comments. Don't be too overbearing, but jump in and, hey, thank you for commenting. Even if it's a comment that says, hey, by the way, your video was decent, but your audio could have been better. Jump into that comment. Do not take it personal. Okay? Don't let your ego be bruised. They're blessing you. When you're being critically critiqued, that means you're being seen, and now they're giving you value. Change it. Now, I'm not one who believes that the customer is always right, but in this regard, okay, you need to create content. And then when you're getting engagements like content, like comments that are kind of scrutinizing the content, your content, follow suit with it. Jump in, comment back. Thank you so much. That's something we've been considering. We'll make sure to make those adjustments and make those adjustments. Okay. When you get that feedback, that's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing. But again, remember, engagements is far more important than your follower and your subscriber count. It is what it is. And when it comes to analytics, don't be intimidated by the analytics. Okay. When you have your batch schedule and you're posting, you want to know how well you're doing. Jump into your dashboard, look at the analytics. If you need questions, if you have questions about your analytics, how do I read the analytics? What matters? What metrics within the analytics should I really be considering and should I be shooting for? Scan the QR code. Let's sit and talk for about an hour. I'll go through your social media. We'll look at it. If you have social media, we'll look at it and we'll make pivots for you. Okay. We'll help you out. If you want us to do the social media all together, we got you. All right. Now, let's look at a quick wrap up and the key takeaways to this webinar, to this episode 2. Okay. In the chat, we have the link to the worksheet. It's important that you download the worksheet and follow the worksheet. Okay. Key takeaway number 1, weekly 5-point system. A weekly 5-post system. Okay. Why does this matter? It creates structure. When you have structure in a system, trust me, it takes all the stress away. You're not worrying anymore. You know just what you're going to do, right? It's in place. It's sort of that reliable conveyor belt. Okay. I know that conveyor belts can have a negative connotation, but it's that conveyor belt that you know that it's well oiled. You turn it on and it works. Okay. Having that 5-post weekly system matters, guys. Okay. And ladies. Now, in addition to that, we have the batch workflow that saves time and stress that works alongside the 5-post system's conveyor belt. Okay. Again, trust me, social media does not have to be hard. You have to be intentional and consistent. Okay. As you're doing more posting, hear me, as you're posting more and more and more, have intentions with your posts. Don't just post blindly and think that the longer you do it, it's going to get better. That's not how this system works. No, the longer you're posting, the better your content should get because you're paying attention to it, because you've given yourself the liberty and the bandwidth to pay attention to it because of your system. Okay. When you do this, it's easier for you to track your analytics. Analytics matter. Okay. When you see these YouTube channels and Instagram accounts and even Facebook groups, as well as LinkedIn accounts that are doing very well, trust me, these individuals are tracking their numbers. They're making micro pivots. They're doing things behind the scenes that you don't see. All you see is the consistent content that's being put before you. We need to get in that habit as a business with our services. All posts need what? A jump off, a CTA, right? Okay. Now, takeaway number 2, your homework. Plan your first week of 5 posts. I'm gonna challenge you on that. Okay. Well, Derek, does it have to be 5? No. Does it have to be 2? No. It can be 1 post, right? It can be 1 post. Well, Derek, the more posts, the better, correct? That's a good question. The answer is no. Not the more, the better. The more consistent and the more intentional, the better. Okay? Throwing oatmeal at the wall is not the best approach. The best approach is having the strategy, the system in place of consistently posting the same day of the new week and the same time, which now helps the analytics give you a better and more consistent trending understanding of what you need to do. That makes sense? By posting intentionally for the new week on the same day at the same time, it blesses your analytics to give you the best trending understanding of what you're to do next, whether that's 1 post or 10 posts in the week. Okay, so set up your batching schedule. Your batching schedule should be consistent of how many posts you plan on posting within a week. If you're confused as to where to start, I'm going to say do 2 posts to start out. We all can do 2 posts. And those posts don't have to be video. I recommend that one of those posts is a video, depending on the platform you're on. And I'm always going to promote YouTube first. Okay? I'm always going to promote YouTube first. Again, if you have questions, ask me a question. I'm dying to answer questions. All right? Now, for the homework, number 3, create a simple analytics tracker. Okay? How do you do that? How do you create a simple analytics tracker? All of these social media platforms have analytics. Okay. So let me go back here. You see these analytic numbers here, likes and saves and shares and views and comments, right? As well as the CTAs, like looking at how many of your links were clicked. With that, we may need some tracking links. So we're not going to talk about that right now. That's something we're going to talk about in weeks to come. But by looking at these simple likes, saves, shares, comments, views, okay, impressions, if you're going to be posted on LinkedIn, impressions are big. If you're looking at these simple analytic items, okay, you're going to see an increase in them. It's going to fluctuate like crazy as long as you're posting regularly. Regularly posting, again, is posting every week, the same day, at the same time. You will be pivoting out of those time frames and out of those days because you'll just need to, because the numbers are going to start adding up and it starts working in your behalf. But again, that's how you're going to do the simple tracking of your analytics. Okay. All right. Now, I'm excited that you guys have joined me today. I want your questions. This is being streamed to YouTube. And we take these webinars very serious. Let me see here. What's the next slide? Okay, it's the last one. Yeah, we take these webinars very serious. I do have a tendency of speaking fast, right? I'm very passionate about social media, and I've been able to wield it very well. Our team, we definitely have a passion for businesses succeeding, and we know how to help your businesses succeed. Okay, that's why we're offering these free webinars. Okay, with worksheets. We're gonna do this until we feel like, hey, we've offered enough content in this regard. Let's pivot. In weeks to come, we will be offering some social media hacks, maybe next week, maybe the week after. But we will have some really good content for weeks to come. We want you to join the webinar. Again, each webinar will have the QR code. Each webinar will have the worksheet that we want you guys to follow. And if you have questions about the worksheet, if you have answers that are on your worksheet that you want us to look at, if you have analytics and some of the let's say Instagram and TikToks that we've shown you kind of mirrors the results you're getting and you're not happy, scan the QR code. Let's set up some time, you and I, do a one-on-one, and let's talk about it. Okay? But it has been an absolute pleasure. Had a good time today, Austin. This was a good time, brother. Let me bring you back up, man. How you doing back there, bro?
Doing well. Great
Good.
work, Derek.
Thank you, brother. It was a lot of fun, man. It's funny when I'm speaking to the audience, man. It's just businesses can win so easily with social media, and it's just sitting there waiting for them to just take hold of the tools and just run with it, right? We've seen many businesses that we've helped just do their thing. And more importantly, the vanity score, whatever, the revenue generation is where it's at. And it's like, once businesses see the revenue that's generated, the leads created from social media, it's like the it's like the light bulb goes off, and it's like, wait, oh my God. It's like, yeah, it's that easy. Yeah, just let it be consistent. So great episode, my brother. And see you guys next time.